Hello everyone, I'm Lonnie.
I'm Amberlicious.
We're Untitled Nerd Network. This is episode 6, review of The Sopranos. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce it, and Amber was like, look it up. Nope.
And of course, Lonnie's
No,
too good for that. He'd
not.
rather fuck it up or something.
The episode is, I'm assuming, called Pax Soprana. It may be pronounced some other, it seems like one of those like Italian phrases that might be differently than,
I mean, someone could have looked it up instead of looking like a jackass.
I would rather just live in ignorance.
Well, that's not a good thing.
Like a true Tennessean. I'm never mind.
All right.
Anyway, I was just stubborn. This was like, we finally get to really see the, how old Junior Soprano is making it, and basically the episode, first half of the episode is he's like really coming down on everybody. He's asking more money.
He's like wanting to prove that he's really the boss. You know what I mean?
The tough guy's like, oh, things are gonna be different.
Yeah, he's like, well, I'm not holding up old agreements, and they're gonna he really and truly is power hungry. Well, here's the thing: he was power hungry to begin with, and then he had a talk with Tony's mother.
Yeah. And
got even more power hungry because she's mad at Tony for putting her in the retirement home.
And so she right now is playing them against each other. They're each going at separate times and talking to her.
Well, no, I don't think she's playing them against each other. I think she's just trying to
screw Tony over.
Yeah, screw Tony over because she's pissed. Like, she didn't do him no favors this episode. She did not. It looked like he was going to talk to her, and then she was going to, maybe feel a little sympathy and talk to Junior again. She didn't feel no sympathy. She, absolutely not. She was like, well, I can't talk to him. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No. Because he went to Junior himself and was like, hey, basically, you're being a little too tough. I get where you're coming from, but ease up a little bit.
And he did.
He did.
And probably, I'm just, spoilers, of course. The end of this episode was, it just kind of gives you,
it was nice.
I
really liked it.
It gives you a taste of what's going on and what, this background, stuff is going on in the background right now that we, at just this point, have realized what's going on. Mm-hmm. And it's going to affect the show in a big way. This was okay, you know what? We've spent the first 5.5 episodes getting you acquainted with everybody, letting you know what the struggles and everything's going on. Mm-hmm. But now we're throwing this new thing into the mix, which is the FBI is working hard. They've got this full office devoted to, bringing down the crime families, and they've got this big,
that was the biggest reveal we've seen yet.
Yeah, they had a huge, a bulletin board with everybody's...
Who was it that had the camera? Was it a server or something?
Yeah, the one of the men that was pouring drinks at where they were crowning Junior as the boss.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
It was a formal dinner.
Party. Yeah, and
everybody was there, and the dude had a name tag that had a camera built into it, and he was...
Yeah, it was sewn right into his suit, unless you were up close looking for a camera, you're not going to be able to see it.
It looked like a button or something. And took pictures of everybody there, and they had a full layout of who was the boss, and who was the captains, and who, everybody.
Obviously this person had been working for them a long time to know what was up. They even knew who was former boss, and they passed away, and, they knew a lot of things.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, yeah, I mean, there's some crazy stuff going on, so, whew, oh, yeah. So, yeah, we had that. Tony spent most of this episode having sexual dreams about Dr. Melfi.
Right.
And even professed his love to her during a session.
Yeah, he finally, because, he thinks he's in love anyway.
Yeah. She knows what's going on.
Yeah, she knows. And I mean, he just figures he's been spending time. She's Italian, smart. You know, she actually gives a shit. Not to say that Carmela doesn't, but like she's a little self-involved to like really peel the layers away and get to know Tony.
Yeah.
Even though they've been together for 18 years, because they celebrated their anniversary, 18, it was still...
You get the idea that Dr. Melfi has gotten to know Tony better in just a couple of months than Carmela has in the 18 years they've been together.
Absolutely. But it's because, you know, they also live a lifestyle where Carmela probably really doesn't want to know. You know, she's afraid she'll find out something that she doesn't want to know, doesn't need to know, because then that makes her, you know... An accomplice. An accomplice or accessory.
She's been kept in the dark on purpose.
Yeah.
And both by her...
Yeah, here's the thing. It's not just Tony keeping her in the dark. She keeps herself in the dark.
Yeah. And, I mean...
And then wonders why things are the way they are between them.
She's talking to the priest earlier, and...
He basically was like, hey, you need to work this out.
Yeah, and, I mean, I'm not a big fan of that, you know, stay married to somebody no matter what mentality. But, at the same time, he had a point that, you know, maybe you need to exhaust all your options. It was
really valid.
Yeah.
Because he was like, you know, because she admitted to knowing that Tony slept around on her.
Yeah.
And
she knew at the end and was okay with it, but now suddenly she's not. And he's like, whoa. Dial it back a little bit. He was
like, because she was basically like, she knew these women were just filling a role that she couldn't.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the kids were younger and she was also a housewife and, you know, this, that, and this. And she stayed busy. And, of course, Tony stays busy, you know. And obviously their schedules don't mesh, you know what I mean? So she was like, I know they're just, like, there for sex, basically. But she knows seeing this therapist and he's talking to her about problems that he has and this, that, and this. And it's a different kind of intimacy than just sex. So, of course, she feels a little threatened, you know?
And it's funny because he had a dream of his doctor in the shower at one point. Mm-hmm. And then he had a dream of him, like, getting a blowjob and the doctor was under the covers.
She thought it was, you know, the one banging.
Yeah, the Russian lady.
The Russian girl. And it was her voice and whatever, and then lifted it up, and it was Dr. Melfi with her voice, which was odd.
He's really not respecting the doctor-patient boundaries. He had her car stolen and had the starter replaced, and he was bringing her coffee at the beginning.
He started bringing her coffee, and
she's already having these suspicions that maybe he's the one that had her boyfriend beat down.
Yeah, she straight up asked, "Has somebody been following me?"
Yeah.
And he didn't answer. And he was.
I almost feel like she didn't really want to know the answer to that.
Yeah. No, she knew.
Yeah,
that's what it was. She knew as soon as he gave her the look. She was like, "Never mind." And, you know.
Yeah, she knew the answer to that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we had that. And then he
tried to kiss her.
He did kiss her.
No, she pushed him off.
Well, yeah, she did. But
I mean, he really didn't even make full contact with her lips before she was just like, no. So I wouldn't call that he kissed her.
Yeah.
He had tried to kiss her.
It was, I mean, it is. The whole Tony Melfi relationship really, kind of just blew up right there.
A notch, yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff like that happened in this episode.
But he brought up a good point. He straight up asked her, "Why did you take me for a patient?" And you know that shit had to be intentional. It ain't just because his doctor recommended her. You know,
yeah.
And his neighbor.
Well, he did. He told her that, it was a choice between, these people and you. And, I wanted I wanted an Italian woman over a
I
couple
think
of.
that was a bunch of bullshit.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. I think that was a bunch of bullshit. Oh, Carmela to make her. I think just solely her was recommended.
And the fact that
and
he was having some issues with his Russian mistress, but he was telling his doctor that the problems were with Carmela.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know.
Absolutely on that. I don't even know where to begin there because...
because he said he loved her. He's convinced that he wants to paint a better image than what's going on here. No.
Whew. Ratings on this episode.
This episode is a team talk about it.
Yeah.
I feel like we missed something. They killed that dude. Killed the drug dealer.
Yeah, that was
a minor plot point.
That was a self-contained thing. At the beginning of the episode, Junior was getting a suit done for his big night, and the tailor, I guess he's very close with the tailor, and the tailor says that, his 14-year-old grandson bought some bad designer drugs from a dealer, ended up killing himself when he did it, and so that
was like the start of Junior kind of squashing things.
Yeah. So Junior gets his guys to go grab the drug dealer. They throw him off the tall bridge down onto the rocks below, and
it was the card game, and then he did that, and then he started taxing fish guy.
Hesh.
It just kept getting bigger. Like, he started small and was basically trying to establish his role as the boss.
We also, for the first time in this episode, see Johnny Sack, the big dude from New York. I'm not going to spoil it, but he's going to be a recurring character.
Right.
So, it's very interesting to see his story. Just knowing what I know, it's going to be fun to watch that from the beginning again. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I feel like there's probably a couple other little minor things.
We did see breast episode, and it was outside of the club.
Oh yeah,
we saw breast twice actually.
Yeah, one of them was the doctor. Of course, that was a body double. You could tell that plain as day.
How could you tell that plain as day? I'm curious. I couldn't.
Because the way that it was cut, it showed the body from the neck down, and then it changed scenes, and it was her from here up.
No, it showed her. I mean, that's because I'm gonna stick to my theory. They can't show breasts while they're... I was getting ready to say that before you interrupted me. Because they did the same thing with the Russian girl.
I feel like at some point...
she didn't speak until you couldn't see her breast.
Yeah.
Even when she was turned around. See her ass while she's speaking. Not her breast.
I'm just thinking that there's certain women on this show with major parts that seeing them nude is off the table.
Yeah.
They'll use a body double. Carmela's one of them. Dr. Melfi's one of them.
I think that's ridiculous.
Adriana, Christopher's girlfriend, I think she's one of them. And
you know for facts they're body doubles? Or you're just...
No,
thinking?
I'm saying I'd be willing to bet a small amount of money on it. I don't know for sure.
Why, though? I think if that's the case, I think that's pretty shitty. I think that's insulting to them.
No, a lot of women, and this was notorious in Game of Thrones as well. A lot of women will agree to do nude scenes in these shows as long as it's a body double and not their actual body. The Game of Thrones episode...
I just feel like it's because they're pressured by men on how their body should look certain ways, and that's why they would agree to something like that. Otherwise, I think it would be just the director doesn't think your body looks good enough, so they're going to use
No.
like...
And I've read about this, is why I know, but like the episode in Game of Thrones where they walk Cersei naked through the city. That showed her face and all, but that was a digitally, they put her head on somebody else's body for that. And I don't know, it's just one of those things. I couldn't tell you the reasoning of a woman who's acting, 22 years ago. I couldn't tell you why, but that's seriously the way it is. And I do know for a fact that later in this later in the series, Carmela does a really, really brief like topless scene, but it's not her. It was a body double, very low light, and her hair is kind of in her face and stuff. And I know for a fact there, because I had read an article, this was when the internet was just really kind of starting to pick up steam, high-speed internet and YouTube and everything. This was like 2004, maybe. And I was just scrolling through, the news one day, and they actually said that it's her, she had like a body double stood in her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's some interesting stuff there. So. But yeah, I'll give this a 10 as well. It wasn't an 11 episode, nothing major, nobody major died, nothing major, like major happened, but it was a strong episode that advanced the plot in a bunch of several ways. We saw some first appearances, just a lot of plot development, character
especially
development.
Since the police are watching them and know everybody's business.
That the last minute and a half of this episode made it go from a 9 to a 10.
Yeah, I agree.
I
agree.
This episode had season finale vibes to it.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, and it was pretty good. So anyway, that's it. We'll see y'all next time. I'm Lonnie.
I'm Amberlicious.
We're Untitled Nerd Network, and feedback next for episode 7.